welcome! This is a tutorial on how to play War Selection. So first we're going to get into the game and show how to go up there and actually play it, and then I'll show how to navigate the screens and stuff like that. Okay, now that we've loaded in, we can see we have our capital, which is very important. However, mind you, this is a map I made up. It's called Journey. Anyways, we have our troops here, and then we have our other troops here. These guys will not have any, none of this will exist. You'll start off with just a little stone cave, and then you have to build the temple, and then you have to build huts. And each age requires a certain number of people, so 20 people. And then you can build a temple, and you can either go down the Europe path or the Asia path, and they have different equipment. Then you have upgrades, increases maximum population, which is extra bed and homes. Mapping increases the territory which you can see. Kind of gives you a basis on so on. So if we make a couple workers, which we can't do because we don't have any living space for them. Now you have to manage food, wood and stone, and metals. You need all three of those for different upgrades, units, and buildings. So we shall take our T-34s, and we can take them, and we can right-click, and they'll move along. Get them to move. Machine gun towers will attack anything within the radius. You can upgrade them so they can see even further using aerostats. You can upgrade those even further into radar stations. And then you can also build anti-aircraft guns, which will automatically shoot down any enemy air units. Tanks will break down any trees whatsoever, so you need not worry about them. We'll just drive along here, and you can just you can use WASD to move around the map. You have your mini map down here, where you can see all your territory and where your units are. And then you can also just move your mouse to the edge of the borders to do things. Just keep pushing up further. And we should have our first enemy engagement coming up soon at the enemy checkpoint, as we've just entered their territory. And there we go, we've just encountered them. There is the tower, so you just right-click on it and it'll attack. That tells how long they have to reload, and you can also see their health, how much they cost, and so on. Tank traps will stop tanks, obviously. We'll go over here. We've got infantry units shooting us, so... Sorry, machine gun towers. So even if they're down all the way there and couldn't realistically shoot the tower, they can still shoot the tower. And we can bring our infantry units up here to the checkpoint to help. So move them here. And we'll go down here. And then we'll just attack these guys. He has a certain number of health left. He's just a regular old soldier. Their aim isn't perfect. Let's see here. Do we have our infantry troops on the way? Yes, our infantry troops are on the way. Do we have any aircraft? I can't remember. No, we don't have any aircraft. Okay, so this is your depot. Depots allow your workers to extract resources further away from your capital. These are really useful so your workers aren't traveling 4 miles in order to go out there and get resources. So you'll take your workers, you'll select them, and then you'll right click on, let's say, the wood, and then they'll just travel back and forth. Or you can right click on this, and they'll just travel to it, and then they'll start harvesting resources. Seems our guys have finished combat here, so we'll send them along to go and fight another group of people. We've got a depot right here, so they'll start shooting that. Now, some units can shoot while on the move, most of them can't. So cavalry are one of those units that can like attack while on the move, but they have to physically actually attack them. These are the German cars, so we just blew that one up, and they've done minimal damage to my tanks. So we'll come along here. We can do a bombardment by doing this. Just click X, and then you can do stuff. So normally, I start the game with about 10,000 resources in each, double the population limit, and let's see here. I'm just going to deny generation. Normally, I play on large maps, but the more people we have, it's likely we'll do huge or giant maps. For now, we'll do a large map, and then copied map. Okay, so we are now in the Stone Age. As you can see, we have our place, and it seems that 2 workers are already on their way. So you can click on the building, and then right-click to move around the spawn point where they'll move to. And then this is an upgrade. So first shoes, it gives increased speed to the stone workers. You can just click it, and it'll begin to upgrade. So it'll drain your resources for that exact amount for so long. So 20, however. So it'll pull it straight from our resources. So currently we have 160 food and 136 wood and stone. Let's build some houses. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll do just 6. This guy should not exist, so just ignore him because you guys won't have that. You can select your workers, and you can right-click on, per se, the building, and they'll drop off all the resources and just kind of stop there. And then you can right-click on the thing, and they'll do that. And you can move him around to do anything. So, like this guy, not doing anything, I right-click on the building, and he'll go and work on it. Now, I can select these guys, and let's say they're already building things. We want to build them to build a stone cutter. So you'll click on it, and then you'll shift, and then click, and then it'll place it right down. And then you just right-click to clear out your cursor, and eventually, once they're done with these houses, they'll build that. Obviously, they have to get the resources in order to do it first. As you can see, it says ran out of materials. Now, we're also going to want a fighter pit. So we're just going to put that down right there. And then we're going to eventually want a temple. So we're going to put that down right there. Now, your temple is something you want to strategically place along with your stone cutter and your fighter pit. Because both of those are going to go out there and play massively into how you strategize. So currently we're in the center of the map. Normally you'll be on the edge of the map, so you don't get the luxury. Well, I mean, I can't call this a luxury. This is awful spawning place, but you get the idea. So they just finished that, and then we can right click here, and that changes where they go. And then warriors, same thing as soldiers, but they only have rocks and stuff like that. We have rush, which increases the speed if they see an enemy. So we will not get that because we have more important things to do. We'll select them. It says that we've got workers that aren't doing anything, so we'll right click on here. Or you can click on them, or you can shift click, which selects all of them. And then you can just right click on the building, and you can click on them again, and then shift click, and then there you go. Now, let's say you want to get a total for all of your workers. Right now, we have a very small group, so we can just do this, and then we can we can right click all the workers. 18. Now let's say we got them all spread out and all over the place. We just find one, and we double click on them, and oh, look at that, 20. And then let's say they're even further out and they're kind of, needing to go up there and do stuff. You can drag and drop it and shift click. So you're not shift clicking, you're just selecting them with shift. So we'll send them down there, go get them the resources. Temple takes 500 resources. Currently, we haven't built any of it, so we need to stock up 500 resources in order to build that. So we'll go along our population limit. The bulwark adds population, so it says damage, it tells you how much, and then it tells you how long it's going to take. Give you stats too. It says static city defense. These are essentially like your not artillery towers, but your machine gun towers essentially. So we'll select a group of these workers now that we have 500. We'll tell them to drop off their resources. And we'll tell them to go out there and go build this little temple. Now, mind you, you only need to build one. You don't need to build a bunch. So build it. Alright, so you've built it. Now they're going to go out there and do that. And it counts as a warehouse. So then, now that we have our temple, we want to progress to either Europe or Asia. We want to progress to Europe, because that's just what I'm doing for the demonstration. And we'll begin to go out there and get that. Now, if you don't get upgrades, it's perfectly fine, because these research things are very specific to the people, to the units you're creating. So if I get the Mace Man training, it'll just give me the Mace Man. It'll increase the damage. It'll just give me the option to make it. If I do Leather Sling, Slinging becomes more accurate. It's only for the Slinger. If I do it for Rush, it only improves the Warrior at all. So all the upgrades, the upgrades only work for that era and for those for specific units. It doesn't increase overall damage. And we see we've almost progressed to the next age, and we've barely expanded at all. So we will time skip. Okay, so now we've progressed to the next age. Our old cave was destroyed, and now we have our elder's house. Now, our workers can't do anything because they're an era behind. So you get these blue boxes which says ready for upgrades. You click on it, make sure you have the resources necessary for it, and it'll stop all of them and it'll upgrade them. And it takes, however many resources per unit. So we just used up all of our food to upgrade these guys. So they're upgrading, and then they'll go right back to work. Now we want to upgrade all of our buildings, so let's do... Well, not barracks yet. We need to go out there and get more trees. That requires food, so we'll get mapping. This food's pretty easy to get. You will eventually run out of food, so let's say there's a lake here. You'll just take the pier and you'll slap it onto the water, and then that'll allow you to build boats and get specific upgrades for it. Cavalry, same thing as a swordsman, but they're on a horse, they move faster, and they do different types of damage. Each unit has strengths and weaknesses, if you can find them. Horses are weak against spearmen. Spearmen are weak against, I don't know, archers or swordsmen. So you gotta be careful with what you're doing. And let's see, we have enough to upgrade the houses, and we have enough for the barracks. Now we need metal in order to upgrade the forge. So we need to select a small group of workers. We want them to drop off their resources here. I've got our upgraded houses. We can see even further now. Now that we've done that, we go over here and we get resources. Now normally in most games we won't have people, sorry not people, animals, but sometimes you will encounter hostile animals. So you go over here and then you just right click on it and it'll go kill the animal. Now, animals will deliberately attack your units. Even enemy units will go through and attack yours, be it workers or so on. They just automatically attack whatever is in range. So you need to be careful about that. And then that gives you food, and then you can collect that food and go do stuff with it. And then we'll go over here and attack this tiger. And it even tells you how much damage it does. And we almost have enough metal. Now, it's pretty much safe. You can click on that and it tells you how where the enemy is attacking you and so on. Then we'll come right back. So we've got our spearmen. Then we've got these guys. We'll just upgrade this because none of those upgrades are important at the moment. Um, and then let's see here. And then we'll get the farm since we're almost out of food. Get some workers for that, and then we'll build some people. Usually, you want to do them in batches of 5 or 10. It just makes things easier. We can upgrade the bulwark into an actual tower, and then this, you got upgrades here, but it'll cost 250 to expand your wheat fields. Make sure you strategically place this so it's not like in your houses or anything like that. Got these guys. We'll get resources there. We'll get some upgrades. If we can afford them, not really. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do the game. There's Air Force and other stuff, but this is pretty much the basics. Nothing too complicated. Just gotta be careful about resource management. And with walls, you can, let's see here. We'll just do this. You'll click, drag, and then let go, and there's your wall. But you need to, of course, build it. So we got some guys. We'll have them stop harvesting metal. Actually, we'll just use these guys. I'm gonna go over here. We'll select right-click that wall. They'll walk over there. Got them walking. They'll circle around it. And remember, like I said, trees can be destroyed by tanks. So you want to try to build your walls around the trees or the resources you want to keep. gates because they can break through those, but they can't run down your walls. Now, you can click on a wall and you can build a gate. Now, a gate, you can, if you click on it, you can open and close it, but you have to do it manually, otherwise your workers can't get through. Now, you can use battering rams to beat down the doors, and you can use catapults to destroy the walls and so on. And that's everything. And then you can use towers, obviously, to attack anything within the range. And you can upgrade those through the ages. That should be everything. Okay, that's that. Okay, now you want to play with your buddies, but for some reason private match isn't there. It's because you have to go there and buy it through special modes. You have to get that in order to get the private matches. Now, you can get different countries here. You got to pay $8 for that. Not much to it. You can do the tutorial here, which might be better than what I've shown you. You can play with a squad. Okay, so this is a map of the early Stone Age when me and my fellow comrades were going up there and playing the game. So as you can see, we've all started out in different areas. This fellow here started in the bottom peninsula. Now I obviously start building. They don't know what they're doing. So we'll skip along. See, he starts building. He's building his stone cutters and so on, and we'll slow down a bit. But he's building his different structures and he's collecting resources. He's getting his berries and so on. And we can actually take a look at his economy real quick. Sorry, that's the wrong one. So he's building some structures here, and he's got plenty of food, but he's hit his maximum population limit. Whereas I have not. In fact, I've still got space because I built all these houses. I've already built my temple and everything. We'll go over here to this chap here. He's already built his stuff. He's got his stone cutter. He's got a house. He's got his bulwark. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, you can use scouts. There's these guys called what are they called? Ah, yes, pathfinders. Pathfinders will not be attacked by any animals, but they're easy to kill, and they're only made in the Stone Age. And you can use them to discover the map. And then you can see he's kind of placing all of his stuff near the seashore. Not a very good idea. And if we speed up things, you can see he's building towers. He built his new place. And you can see how his economy is doing. Everything is dropping. And then he's just gotten the ability to do upgrades, and his resources are dropping even more. Now, how he's doing his walls is pretty good, but he didn't connect that to make a door. He's built a navy and stuff like that. But his placement of his barracks and stuff like that, it's a little too close, and the strategic placement of his bulwarks were really poor. Now, if we come over here to my stuff, we can see I've got my towers placed in strategic positions. I've got my farm there, and I've got my warriors just out front. If we come over here, we can see that he has placed his temple right there, and he's still kind of behind. But if we watch him expand a bit, we'll see that eventually he goes there and places his farm right there in the mix. And already, he's done the worst thing he can possibly do. He's backed himself into a corner. Now, why is this bad? Well, I will show you why that is a really bad thing, because later on down the line, now part of making defenses, I'm just going to say this real quick, is that if you don't do it right, see there's this little gap right here. I can send my spearmen straight through there right into his place and kill everybody and destroy his capital. Though he does have a navy, which would be problematic, but I could just get right in there. You need to make sure your walls are touching from edge to edge, so people can't get in, your workers can't get out. And you need to set up your towers so you can defend yourself. We go over here, we can see how I'm doing it. We've got walls galore. We've got towers being set up.